What's going on, everybody? Today we are back with some Farming Simulator 22. This is going to be my first video out. It's just going to be a quick show of the video, how to use manual transmission on a controller, and how these different tractors and transmissions are different based on which transmissions they have in them. So first of all, I'll go ahead and show quickly how I set up the transmission. I changed shifting up and down on controller, which was originally holding the right trigger and then pushing up and down, and then that's how you did that, and then going up and down for the groups or the ranges was holding the right trigger and going right or left. I didn't really like that, so I changed it to right and left and up and down, and whatever was on those buttons originally, I changed to RB plus those buttons, and then the RB plus those buttons originally were for the lights on the tractor, so I moved those to RB plus LB, and those buttons were originally for the radio on the tractor, which I do not use the radio on the tractor, so I just got rid of those keybinds to free up the ones I wanted. I also use a clutch on it. This is for PC only. You can't use clutch on console if I am correct. And so I use A as clutch, which is the attach button as well. And with the attach button, I just changed it to RB plus A right here. And then that was originally the horn button, and I don't really use a horn. So easily, I got rid of the horn and the radio, and now I have enough buttons on my controller to use clutch plus the manual. So we'll go ahead quickly and show other settings. I have the automatic engine start off, stop and go braking off, as well as this one I have direction change manual, gear shift mode manual with clutch, in the speedometer mode and engine speed, so that you can see when you need to shift the engine up and down. So we'll go back now and we'll take a look at the different transmissions. There's technically 5 different transmissions, but I chose to put tractor manual and truck manual as 2 different transmissions because they are technically a little bit different. So with clutch, when you don't have your clutch on, you just have to hit RB and X to start the engine, and you can do that with the truck. Actually, you don't have to be holding the clutch, but to shift you need to hold the clutch. You can put it in one, probably with the semi you can put it a little higher, especially when it's not pulling anything. You'll throttle up the semi some, you'll let out the clutch, and then you can start going. To shift all of the gears in here, you have to push the clutch pedal, shift up, and then you can push it again to shift up, and you have to do that up and down both, as you can see, and that'll just change what gear you're in, how fast you can go. Just a little bit something different with the semis, as in years past technically all of the vehicles had what would be called a CVT engine, which we'll get into in a little bit. So we'll get ahead in here, and this is the tractor manual. So for this one, as you can see, you can actually start it without the clutch. I thought you couldn't. Some of them you can't start without the clutch. But once you're in neutral here, you can throttle and it won't do anything. And you'll have to go up here or down if you want to go in reverse. The negative gears are for reverse. You can see in the bottom right corner. So we can have it in low 1. You can tell it's in low because of the L right below, above the number 3 in the bottom right corner. We'll give it some gas and it'll take off in 1. See, you cannot do any changes in the gears without holding the clutch now on the controller. Once you push the clutch in, you can shift up some, make it to gear 4 in the low mid-range, and now you can go to the mid-range gears, and that'll take you to 8 miles an hour. And then the high gear range will take you all the way to 19 miles an hour. And as you see, it doesn't max out the engine anymore, so when you're not pulling around a trailer, it's not too bad. Then you just gotta hold A to shift down again. And if you do stop while you're in gear, you kill the engine because it's trying to move, but it doesn't have enough power to move, and it ends up killing the engine because it's not getting enough power to the wheels. The next one we have here is manual plus power shift. So we go ahead and start it. It looks very similar to the manual transmission that we used before. So you go ahead and you'll have to hold the clutch in to shift any gears. You can see you got this one has 6 gears negative as well as 6 gears positive. So you can go ahead and put it in low 1 here, let out the clutch and hit the gas, and you'll go. And to shift up and down gears, you'll have to hold the clutch. Once you shift the gear, you'll let off the clutch, and that'll allow you to speed up. We'll get up to number 6 here. But what makes this power shift, now that we're up in low 6 here going 15 miles an hour, you no longer need to hold the clutch, and you can shift from low to high, no problems. I would not suggest going high to low though. As you can see, that really maxed out the amount of RPMs there, and in real life that would blow up the engine very quickly. But in Farm Sim, I don't think it actually does anything. It may cause damage to the engine. But once again, if you stop while in gear, kill the engine very quickly. The next engine or transmission we're going to look at here quickly while using the controller is called the automatic transmission. As you can see, there is no neutral in this tractor. We'll go ahead and start the tractor, and it immediately dies right away. We'll go ahead and start the tractor one more time so you can see that again. And you can't do it because there's no clutch. So you go ahead and engage the clutch here, and then start the tractor up. Once you're holding the clutch down, you have to hold the clutch down the entire time you're sitting still in this tractor. You can look around, and there is no way to shift up or down, only different ranges. You can, however, switch from forward to reverse, as you can see. In the bottom right corner, I'm switching from positive to negative gears right now. And what happens in the automatic transmission is we'll give it a little gas here. You can't actually see it, but I'm holding the button down. In the automatic transmission, it's a little bit different. It doesn't actually make the tractor speed up, so we're holding the button down now. We'll let off of the clutch. We'll start going, and it automatically starts shifting through gears by itself. But then, if you want to get out of low range to mid-range or high range, you do have to clutch to get to mid-range as well as high range, and that'll allow you to max out the tractor speed. As far as I can see, this is the only tractor in the game that has an automatic transmission like this, and you can see the guy put it back down into first gear for you. So you go ahead and let off the clutch, and the tractor dies because it's trying to move, but it doesn't have enough power coming from the engine. The next transmission we have here is the John Deere 4755. It has the smallest engine, I believe, with a power shift engine or transmission. Keep on and call it an engine. I talk about horsepower too much and the engines, but we're talking about transmission. So we'll go ahead, try to start it here. You start. It does have neutral, so it stays running. You can rev the engine, do whatever you want. It's not really going to do much here. You'll hit A, or whatever you bind it to be your clutch. And then, as you can see, there's no ranges. It's just gears 1 through 15. You can come all the way down here, and there's 4 reverse gears as well. So we'll go ahead, and I'll show you right away. You can take off in 1, no big deal, and just go 2 miles an hour. And you don't need a clutch. You can just shift up and down gears as fast as you want, as much as you can. It's not a problem. But much like real life with a power shift engine, and all of those other engines as well, or, geez, engine again, engine. I need to start remembering to say transmission. Much like those other transmissions, you don't actually have to be, as I kill the engine. We'll go ahead and get that started. You can hold the clutch in, and we'll go up to like 6th gear, and half throttle, and you can take off in 6th gear just fine. And once again, no clutch needed. You can just fly through the gears as fast as you want in the power shift transmission. And it is probably my favorite in the game to drive, the easiest to understand by far. Aside from the CVT, which we're going to show off next, we'll get the tractor up here and just let it die. It dies real quickly there. Like I said, if you're not in neutral, you have to be holding the clutch or the tractor dies every time. Except for this one right here, the CVT transmission. We're going to be taking off with this tractor here. And just like every farm sim in the past, this tractor will drive the same as basically every tractor that you've ever driven in farm sim. There's no gears to shift. But to get to reverse, if you're using the same settings I am, you'll hit the brake, come to a stop, move to reverse, and hit the gas pedal again, and you'll go backwards just like every farm sim you've ever played before. Like I said, everything in the old games all have CVT engines, so nothing too bad here. Just to show off all of the different transmission types in the game. As you see, I jumped out of it. The tractor's not moving, but it's still running. You can see by the engine speed there, and we can go ahead and shut that off. But with that being said, these are all of the different transmission types in the game. I showed off the truck and pickup truck transmission, the manual transmission, which is common in the old and small tractors, the manual plus power shift, which is also common in small tractors, the automatic, which I believe this is the only one in the game that has automatic. It's the only one I saw stock with automatic. There may be a couple other ones if you switch the engines around and then it'll change which transmission is in them. But this is the only one that comes stock with an automatic transmission. This is the smallest tractor with a power shift transmission. I know a lot of the larger tractors get power shift transmissions as well. And then CVT is by far the most common transmission in the game. It is by far the most common in every tractor, and most vehicles that are not trucks or tractors, I believe, all have CVT transmissions in them as well. So, with that being said, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.